Hello, welcome back to the Off-Grid family. Today I am lucky enough to be reviewing an Ender 3 version 2 3D printer. Again, like most of the things I review unless I state, this has been bought with my own money, so all of the review side of things is truthful and, you know, there's no reason why I'd lie about it kind of thing. I've had a 3D printer for many years now, but I bought the cheapest one there was because we had no money at the time. Nothing's really changed, but such is life. And the one I had, I loved, and I still love until it broke the other day. And it's bits that have broken on it, which I can't fix myself, I'd have to buy new parts for. And after looking at how much it would be to just buy a new 3D printer, the one I had that I've reviewed on this channel already now sells for £70. The extruder and the hot end have both broken. To buy that, it's going to be about £35. There's no point putting half the cost of the entire printer back into it. Although, I may do that as a side project out of bits and bobs from other things and build my own hot end and various other bits. But that's for another day. But I thought, do you know what, there's no point me spending all that money on a 3D printer like that when there's so much newer 3D printers out. Now, the Ender 3 is not the newest printer on the market, however, it ticked all the boxes for me. So all I'm going to do in this video is just unbox it. I will do a review on it, and it will be an extensive review in the next couple of weeks as I've got used to using it and learned how to use it. I may do a few tutorials on how to do certain bits of it if I find it easy or if there's demand for it, obviously. I'm super excited by this, so let's get on. Right, let's have a look inside, see what's what, see if everything's got to me in one piece. And we'll lay all the bits out and then I'll start making it. And hopefully by the end of this episode we should have a beautiful new 3D printer and get some 3D printing on the go. Because I haven't bought myself a new 3D printer, well, since the last video I did about setting up a 3D printer, which was quite some years ago now. And it was the cheapest one on the market. Now this isn't the most expensive one on the market, but this is sure is an upgrade. The one I bought is now £70 online. So, you know, it's a throwaway. It's still not cheap, but for what it is, it's cheap, you know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything out of here, put it all out nice and neat and hopefully all in one camera shot, and then we can start putting it together and we'll have a little chat about what's what, etc. But I don't know how to put this together yet. I will know how to put it together by the end of this video, or I will cry. Right. Let's gotta admit, this is pretty well packaged. You know, this is all custom cut for this device. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Okay, as I say then, I'll speed this bit up, I'll get everything out, we'll put it all nice, and then we can have a look at what's here and, you know, start hopefully putting it together. Okay, so that's all the bits laid out in some semblance of order. I can see what most bits are. I haven't gone through these yet because it's very easy to lose a screw or bolt or whatever. But I'm now going to go off and read the instructions, and I will be back once I've read through them semi-thoroughly. I say semi-thoroughly because I'll be drinking coffee and probably chatting. So yeah, back in a minute. Right, I've been through the manual and actually it's pretty well written. There's a few bits where I'm going to have to actually look at the device to make sure that I'm on, you know, the right orientation or whatever. But, you know, that's the same with most manuals. But yeah, it's not too bad. As far as I can tell, it's going to be an okay ride. It's not going to be too difficult, hopefully. To build this, I am going to use their Allen keys, but I won't be using any of this, the wrenches and the screwdriver. I will use my own versions of them. But what else you get in the bags are a pair of side snippers. They are just the cheap versions that you get with everything. I've got tons of the pairs. But it's nice to have a pair for this, and I will probably eventually 3D print a holder for all of that. This here is a needle for unblocking bits and bobs. It's quite a nasty little piece of work, so be careful, otherwise you might end up accidentally jabbing yourself. And then there's some zip ties. That's that bag. Then in this bag we have the belt, various bits and pieces for the extrusion, what's the word I'm looking for, filament, I couldn't remember what the hell I was talking about. Different bolts and so on, screws, nuts, bolts, screws, etc. Right, this here is a SD card and a USB dongle, and I believe this has a step-by-step guide on how to make this. I'm not going to bother using this at the moment unless I need it, but it's very handy to have it on there. I wonder how much room is on the SD card. 8 gig. It's not a bad size. It would be perfect for using for the 3D printer. I've got one that's 2 gig on my old 3D printer, and I've never had to delete stuff off it, you know, and I've 3D printed for years. Okay, so that's that, and there's various bits and bobs. There's a few end caps, and I believe that is the limit switch. So yeah, just bits and bobs that we need, and the ternary bit for the back of the bed, I believe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go step by step and take my time and hopefully set up a 3D printer. Oh, and did I mention that there's this a little bit of filament. I've lost the word filament. My brain doesn't work today. A little bit of filament to get us started if we didn't have any. Installation of Z-axis limit switch kit and Z-axis profiles. Right, this calls for the M545 jobbers. Whenever making something like this, I'm sure you guys know, make sure you get all the orientation around the right way. So at the moment, I'm looking at this I'm looking at this bit the wrong way round. So notice another thing on this diagram. It says there's the longer gap at the top. So on this, there's the holes, and it's saying the longer gap on the top and on the inside. So that way, is that correct? I believe so. So that goes there. Right, I'm going to screw the bottom one in first by hand, just to hand tight. I'll do, and then this one. Okay, that's one side done. Okay, this is the Z-axis limit switch, and that's our next bit. Okay, using the Allen key, the next size down, I'm going to just loosen them, and they just get slid on like this. Now, once I've screwed this down, I believe I have to, I have to level it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to screw this down first, and then I'm going to see whereabouts in space it needs to go. Again, the bottom one first, just so I can see where it goes. If I screw the top one in first, then I can't really see the next screw hole. Okay, in the second diagram, we can actually see the alignment of it. So, let's get this on. I believe it needs to be exactly in line with the bottom. I might end up having to change it, but the bottom axis, we shall see. Does it say to wire it up yet? Or is that going to be all at the end? No. It's not telling me to plug anything in, so we're going to leave all that for now anyway. Installing Z-axis motor kit and T-type screw. Right, again, like I said before, the orientation for this is very important, and they've actually turned the 3D print around. So let's do that now. Okay, so what we need to do is just give this a little unscrew, on the grub screw here, and then we're going to plonk the screw rod, is it, what's it's called? I think it's a screw rod. Anyway, and we're going to tighten it up. Make sure the other one is tight as well. Yep. Then this connects down here. Installing pneumatic joint, XE axis, kit and synchronous belt. Okay, for this bit be very careful because they are the two bits of extrusion we got left are different, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, this one's the longest of the two. Okay, first things first then, we're going to screw this into the bottom here. I said I wasn't going to use the little spannery wrench things in here, but I'm going to. Why not use the tools provided? This one here we need. Okay, next then we're going to connect this to the actual this jew hooker. But let's try and work out which way round. Right, okay, holding it so that this part, the springy McDingy part of it is upwards. Take the end of your extrusion that is that is closer to the edge. The hole is closer to the edge, and that goes just here like that. So now trying to get the screws in there is going to be fun. And then down like that. Install nozzle kit, Z-axis passive block. Okay, as I always say, orientation is really important. So try and get everything the same orientation as in the pictures, as best you can anyway. So this goes in here like so. I obviously need to get the belt in, but I'm just going to put it, like dry fit it as it were. Okay, so I'm going to try my hardest to get this all on camera the best I can, but this is going to be a bit awkward, I think. The belt is going to go up and round this stepper motor, in an ideal world anyway. Get my anti-fat finger tool, pull that through. And then back round. Now what I want to do is get this all the way down to the bottom, so it's basically in the middle nearly. There you go. And now I'm assuming that's going to get caught there. Yeah. So what we need to do is take it off. I'm going to plonk this down like that. So I've plonked that one in, and now I'm going to pull it down, pulling this tight hopefully, and I'm going to do the same again here. So now that is on there. Obviously it's not tight yet, but we'll be putting the belt tensioner on there and all sorts of other things, but that's fine like that. Okay, so I've put that in the middle and it's got these two bits connected into it at the moment. Now you can put this end piece on. Goes this way round and connects whereabouts. Into this hole. So if you have a look, this bit goes in the groove that they've made. And that bit screws in to here. I will admit this bit was quite confusing, especially because they've done it in a few bits and they haven't sort of said, don't worry, the next bit goes here or whatever, you know. So let me just show you that a second. Can't pick it up too far because we're obviously connected now. But the belt goes round here, through here, round here, clips into each side of here and round the stepper motor. Right, next. Install X-axis tensioner. Right, when you come to look for these pieces, bear in mind that when it says about the, which screw is it? The hexagon socket countersunk head screw black, that is actually in with the tensioner. I suddenly panicked thinking that they'd missed a screw, which would have shocked me, but they hadn't. Right, to put the tensioner on, I'm actually going to unscrew it. And I'm actually going to take the belt, the actual bearing off, or whatever it would be, the roller, sorry. Oh, blimey, maybe, possibly, otherwise I'm not going to. Yeah, it is possible, there you go. Right, I've plunked it in like that. Now, I'm putting the screw back through. Some of this camera work's going to be really poor, but you know, there's nothing I can do. It's very, very tight quarters kind of filming. We've now got that there. This should go round this way. And again, as I say, I'm going to use this to just lift up this bit. There you go. And now we can put on our little tensioner head. And start actually attaching this. Right, I've put a bit of tension on the belt to try and pull this into alignment, and it's sort of worked. So that's that one nearly in. Turn it over, and the countersunk screw in this side. Let's just finish screwing in this side. This has been the hardest bit so far, just purely because of not really knowing what, you know, what bits what and so on. Installing the Z-axis moving kit and adjusting the tightness of the X-axis and Y-axis tensioners. Like I've mentioned a few times, you need to get the orientation correct before you start doing anything. So refer to the pictures before you start, you know, trying to put any of this together. So now this goes up and onto the rollers like so. Now it will get stuck over this side because you now need to thread on the screw. I'll show you how to do that. So you place it on so that the rollers are either side, can you see? But as I say, it's getting stuck here, so let's have a look what we need to do. Okay, so this is where we've got hung up. And basically what you want to do is rest the screw in there and then very slowly turn it until it gets into the grooves. There we go. Right, to tension the belts, you turn this blue doohickey left and right to tension and loosen off, and this one here. Both of mine seem to be quite well tensioned anyway, so I don't need to do that. Install the Gantry Profile and display kit. Okay, so this bit's straightforward enough. This on top and screw it down. One thing I've done wrong that I want to warn you of now is this is over the top. It's supposed to be through here. So just unscrew this and flop it around the outside, inside. Right, so this display goes up this way. So you need to make sure that it would drop into that bit like that. So we need to just connect these pieces like this. I'm not sure I'd advise doing this, but if we gently bend our nail right back. Let's see if we can do it with this. There you go. Right, now we can actually just unscrew these ever so slightly and slide it all on. Take your time doing this. It's a bit fiddly, or it can be. Install material rack, gantry cover and indication knob. Okay, so this is part of the spool holder and that connects to this part here. I'll show you how that works in a second. What you need to do is get the screws indicated in the instructions, plonk one through, and then loosely tighten one of these little slider thingy jobs on. Or not, just throw it on the floor like that. So just loosely on like that, and we'll do the same with the other one. Okay, and all you do is you plonk it down, and they should grab on like that. If they don't worry about it, just start tightening them up and they should instantly tighten up. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you might spin and spin and spin and then they will grasp and then that's it. So there we go. And now this bit, you unscrew, well, you twist off, place it through, line up the ring bits and twist it back on like that. There you go, and that's that done. And I nearly forgot the most important thing in the world. This little indicator knob. So this goes just there, like that. Okay, now it's time to just put all the wires in and we should be good to go. Okay, so this is the front, and on the bottom left we have two cables. One which is for the limit switch and one which is for the actual stepper motor. Okay, next. That confused the heck out of me then, right? We've got an E for extruder. We've got an X for the X axis. And we had another X, and I was like, there's not two motors. What the hell's going on? This is for the actual limit switch, and I've just found where it goes, so I'll show you in a sec. Right, so, extruder. Oh, that's awfully close to that, isn't it? And the limit switch one goes here, right in there. Hang on. Yeah, just in that. I might need my fat finger device in a minute. Nope. Okay, the last piece of wiring we need to do is under here. And this plug can only go one way. So plunk it in. One thing I forgot to do was put the end caps on, so I'll do that now. Okay, very quickly off camera, I took this tube and I've plonked it in there because that's actually the feed tube for the filament. Basically, you just pull this bit out and squish it in. That's not a problem at all. But one thing I've noticed is filament's coming in from this side, and this is the side they said to put the actual filament spool. So that means it's got to come up, round, and down. I'm going to leave it like that for now and see how it works. But I personally would have put it here, and so it could have just wound down. Maybe it is in the right place. Who knows? No, either I messed up and did something wrong from the actual instructions, or they messed up, but that should be that side, so that's what I'm going to do now. Our 3D printer is ready to go. Like I said in the video, I think that the SD card has a video on how to put it together, and it's a step-by-step video. Some people say it has, some people say it hasn't. I haven't even bothered plugging it in yet. Overall, it wasn't too difficult. It wasn't too bad. You know, I had to keep going back and having a look at bits and pieces. And as I said to you at the beginning, I wasn't going to use the tools. I ended up using all the tools that were there. There's a couple of tools I haven't used at all, and I don't know why they're in there. So that's a bit strange. And they're not ones that are for the actual process of 3D printing. So I'm not sure. But everything there was brilliant. Worked perfectly. So as far as a kit's concerned, it all worked absolutely perfectly. I'm going to do some prints and do some other bits and bobs to see how well it works and, you know, that kind of thing. But as far as setting it up goes, everything went quite smoothly. All of the parts feel very robust and genuine and nice. It didn't feel cheap, let's say. So I'm quite looking forward to using it. But I hope that this video helped someone, you know, putting it together and who's got stuck a bit. There were a few bits that were a little bit tricky, but you know, I overcame them. So yeah, I just hope that that's helped one or loads or millions of you. But in the next few weeks, as I say, there should be a review and maybe a few how-tos on this printer. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.